and Chainlink are looking super bullish, and in today's video I will share my analysis and long setups for both Bitcoin and Chainlink with you guys. Let's dive into the charts. What we can see over here is that Bitcoin is still a range bound and it's currently still potentially deviating beneath this range low level. When we apply the entire range, we can see that Bitcoin, in my opinion, is currently looking at a potential double range low deviation play. What do I mean by this? I mean that the first bigger deviation, aka the deviation that we saw over here last week, is currently being followed up by a second smaller deviation. Now, I anticipated this in Tuesday's video where I told you guys that it was very likely for Bitcoin to take out this low over here, and that I told you guys it was time to look for swing longs on Bitcoin right over here with the invalidation over here targeting new all-time highs. I will leave a link to this video in the description so you guys can confirm that I actually called this signal live. But what we can see right now is that Bitcoin is potentially confirming that second smaller deviation over here after that first bigger deviation, which means that we can add more long positions to our current swing long position. Because what I really like about this structure on Bitcoin is that over here, we took out major sell side liquidity. There was a lot of liquidity resting over here due to the fact that we saw this pump over here happening over the weekend and happening based off a news event that was taking place due to some things that Donald Trump was saying. We took out the liquidity with this low over here. Now we know that the low that takes out the liquidity, aka this low over here, becomes a significant low. That low then brought us to a lower high over here, and that lower high brought us to a lower low over here after putting in the wick to the upside. Now, by putting in a lower low over here, we know that when we move to the 15-minute time frame, that the high that brings us to that low, aka the high over here, becomes a significant high to break. Once the price of Bitcoin was opening and closing candles above this high, we have seen a confirmed break of structure. Not only a confirmed break of structure, but because of the fact that before the break of structure took place, price swept a lot of liquidity beneath that low and a lot of liquidity beneath this low, the low that brought us to that lower high, aka the low over here, was a significant low as well, giving extra probability to this break of structure towards the upside. And now this break of structure towards the upside, in my opinion, confirmed the higher low over here, confirmed the second smaller deviation over here after the first bigger deviation over here, and I do think that a bottom on Bitcoin is in and that we have an invalidation for our bullish thesis and our bullish bias that moved from first being beneath this low and now being beneath this low over here. Now that means that we can start looking for long executions with that new invalidation. Now there's two ways that I'm interested in long executions. The first way is a more risky approach. It means that we are looking for our invalidation being over here and saying that this push to the upside gave us a trigger to start looking for longs based off this market structure break over here. Then that means that you can already start looking for longs right now. If our target is at range high liquidity pool, aka the liquidity that is resting above the highs over here, you always want to use the second to highest high and not the highest high, in my opinion. This is where the true liquidity is resting for Bitcoin. That means that if the RR is there, you can already start looking for market longs over here with your invalidation over here, targeting that liquidity pool. Now this offers an RR of 1.64 and I'm not a big fan of that. According to my win rate, I need an RR of at least 1.8. So that means that I go on the lower time frame and I start looking at places where I potentially want to execute my long trade on Bitcoin, where other people are getting stopped out. Now I can see that with this push to the upside, we are putting in a fake break of structure right over here on Bitcoin, and we are also putting in a fake break of structure right over here on Bitcoin. Why are these fake break of structures? Because price is breaking through an insignificant high over here and another insignificant high over here. Why are those highs insignificant? Because they are not bringing us to any lower lows, they are only bringing us to higher lows over here before forming higher highs afterwards. Now those fake break of structures are in that case engineering liquidity beneath the low over here and also engineering liquidity beneath the low over here, which means that my first trigger for Bitcoin has been taking place, and I'm interested in potential longs once we take out the low over here, or if we take out the low over here, with indeed our invalidation being beneath this low that we just discussed over here due to that break of structure and potentially confirmed higher low and second smaller deviation, and then we can target that range high liquidity pool right over here. Now in this case we can see that this already offers a beautiful RR of 3.43. Now the second setup that you can potentially play is to wait for even more confirmation to get a higher probability setup. And that would mean that I'm waiting for a 4-hour market structure break right over here based off this high. Because at the end of the day, guys, this is the highest high that we formed, and this is also the high that brought us to this higher low over here. So if you manage to open and close candles above this high, this low has an even higher probability to hold, and then you can play the higher low over here, targeting higher highs and targeting that range high. So the second play that you can wait for, and this offers a higher probability, maybe a less RR, but a higher probability play, is a play like this, in which you await that confirmed market structure break, then you wait for the higher low to form. This is where you enter with your invalidation over here, and then you can target a potential bigger expansion right over here for the price of Bitcoin. Because at the end of the day, guys, what you also have to realize is that we are looking at a potential PO3, accumulation, potential manipulation, and if we indeed enter that expansion mode, then the first target obviously remains a drawn liquidity over here around the range high. But if this is a valid PO3, accumulation, manipulation, then the expansion will break out of this range high, and we will see bullish expansion over here towards $128,000 for Bitcoin.
As you guys know, I am giving away 1 month of free membership to our premium training community. All that you guys need to do is leave down below in the comment section the answer to the following question. What is your biggest struggle while trading? And below that answer, I also need you guys to leave behind your Twitter name. I will reveal the winner of that giveaway tomorrow on my Twitter account, so make sure to go to my Twitter account. I will leave a link in the description down below as well. Follow the steps on that tweet, leave behind your Twitter name in the comment section down below on YouTube, and tomorrow you might win 1 month of free membership to our premium trading community.
Now guys, I'm super bullish on Chainlink, because what we can see when we look at Chainlink is that Chainlink is trading inside of a beautiful range. Well, it's actually currently trading outside of the range, but we know that we always want to trade potential deviations. And also for Chainlink, we are looking at a potential double range low deviation play, in which the first deviation turns out to be a smaller deviation, and we are currently looking at a second bigger deviation. So the first smaller deviation being followed up by a second bigger deviation below that range low. First target being this liquidity pool around the range high. Once again, guys, as you guys can see, I'm not taking the highest high. I always take the second to highest high as my true draw on liquidity. Now, why I really like this chart and why I really like this potential second deviation over here, which by the way isn't confirmed just yet, is because we are forming a very clean potential reversal structure over here. When I move to the 4-hourly time frame and I quickly remove the range over here and I just look at this structure over here, I really like the structure, because what we can see is that the price of Chainlink took out this major liquidity low over here. Now once again, we know that once we take out a major liquidity low, the low over here carries a lot of significance. That low brought us to a lower high. Then we formed a lower low, and then over here, this is where things became interesting, because we formed a higher high and we have seen a valid break of structure. But the problem with this break of structure is that we couldn't trust it. How so? Because the push that gave us the break of structure, aka this push over here, took place over the weekend, and it took place based off a news event. So I didn't trust this break of structure, and it indeed was designed to trap people into long positions over here or long positions up on the pullback. And now those long positions, guys, they need to place their stop loss somewhere. Indeed, they place their stop loss beneath the low over here. And you see how we sweep those stops and are now seeing a bullish push towards the upside. This is exactly the kind of reversal structure that you want to see in order to confirm a deviation below a potential range low level. So now all that is left in order to get a very high probability trade on Chainlink is to get a confirmed break of structure right over here on the 4-hourly time frame, which means that I want to see a candle open and a candle close above this significant high, not a wick above the significant high, not a candle close above the significant high. No guys, I need a candle open and a candle close above the significant high over here. In that case, I get my trade to start looking for longs with my invalidation over here. At the same time guys, at that point, once we get the confirmed break of structure, we are also going to reclaim this range low level. We are going to confirm that second bigger deviation. We have found ourselves an invalidation, and we obviously have our target over here, and eventually we can even target this liquidity pool over here with those equal highs. So for Chainlink, my plan is super simple. Once the price opens and closes candles on the 4-hourly time frame over here above this high and above the range low level, I'm looking for long positions with my invalidation over here, targeting the first range high liquidity pool over here already for a beautiful RR of 2, and eventually targeting this liquidity pool over here for an even better RR for the swing trade of approximately 3. And along the way towards the upside guys, I'm always open to compound profits along the way up. As soon as price action forms new invalidations, I will enter more long positions with tighter stop losses, targeting those liquidity pools.